and I'll be speaking on my topic, how Python made my dream come true. So this was me in 2016. I turned 17. I just graduated from a high school and started my college. I started the degree in Bachelor's in Computer Science. Currently I'm pursuing my degree. Recently I finished my third year, and a few days back I got my grades for the semester. In 2016 I learned how to code. I started with language C. I learned a few things like assignment statement, declaration statement, for loops, control statements. I started with all these things. Later I started to think I got to know about data structures and algorithms. I heard about things like stacks, queues. I learned how stacks work, how queues work, and I started with the implementation myself. I didn't watch the code. I started to think, how can I code a stack in a C? That's how I started. So I just made one Python project in 2017. How many of you are students first? One student? Student? Okay. So have you coded anything in Python? Made a Python project? Small Python project?
I'm not a student now, but I used to code in Python when I was in college.
Oh.
Yeah, okay.
So mostly what happens with people is they just code a project and they leave the project. That's it. They don't continue the project, or they don't know the potential of their project. So I want people to make projects which have potential, which they can think the project as a long-term project, not a short-term project over a weekend only. So people should focus on building projects which have a long-term impact, not a short-term impact, just to put the project in resume only. It should not be like that. So I made one Python project, and me in 2018, I got the opportunity to visit Silicon Valley, a fully sponsored trip by Government of India. And I visited many places in San Francisco, like Golden Gate Bridge, Apple headquarters, Google headquarters, Microsoft headquarters, Amazon headquarters, and various different places. Learn about the culture of Silicon Valley, why Silicon Valley is called Silicon Valley, why there is no other place like Silicon Valley. Also, I got a chance to attend a Harvard University conference named as HPAIR, Harvard Project for Asian and International Relations. I got the fully sponsored trip to visit Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia last year because of that single project. At that time, I started to learn how to explain the things and how to talk to people. It's like there is a software developer who can just code. He just knows how to code the things. He doesn't know how to explain the things. The important thing is to explain, not to just code the stuff which you got from your higher authority. So people should know how to explain the things that they are coding. They should have the deep knowledge. So what was my dream, and this talk is all about? My dream was to visit Silicon Valley before turning 20 and enjoy the lunch at Google headquarters. So how many of you have a similar kind of dream?
I do.
Okay. Actually, when I was in my freshman year, I saw many people taking the photograph with the Golden Gate Bridge, posting on their Instagram handles and Facebook handles. I got inspired with that, and I thought that I'll also get a photo with the Golden Gate Bridge, not edit one, but get a picture clicked myself at the location. So this is the first Macintosh introduced by Steve Jobs in 1984. I got a chance to use this Macintosh. That was my lunch at Google headquarters, and this is me with Randy Zian. Randy Zian is working at Apple since 1980s. He worked with Steve Jobs personally to develop the first Magic Keyboard with that iMac. So he told me that the Steve won't like the current keyboard of MacBook Pro. Steve wants that silver colored laptop, a silver colored keyboard with white engravings of keys. So now let me tell you the power of one Python project. I got the powers. So what do you think? What can one Python project can help you win? I want people to help me. What do you see the potential in your Python project if you had developed one? No response. Okay. So I developed this Python project in 24 hours in a hackathon, and I was the winner of this hackathon also. So the project was like I have two stubs in my fingers. One is of purple color and one is of pink color, and I was just popping the bubbles during the hackathon. I planned to make a game using computer vision. Here I used computer vision library and used basic color segmentation and making circles to develop this Python project. Then someone told me that if you can just pop those bubbles, if you can make some improvements, and if you can open a web page, so like this, with a pop of a bubble, I am able to open a web page, a single web page. And what if I could integrate this feature in the complete desktop? I can operate my complete desktop using my fingers. It's like when I move my fingers, it's a cursor, and when I pinch, it's like a click. You don't need you do not need a mouse pointer. You do not need a keyboard. Everything will work on your fingers using gestures. This was the Python project I developed. And I got a few things out of this Python project. The first one was the hackathon winning award. There were around 360 teams from all over India, and I won the hackathon. Second is I pitched my project to a few hiring community managers in different companies. They loved this project so much that they directly gave me the internship opportunity to work. Third is I got the opportunity to visit Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Actually, it was my first international trip, and as a delegate and a scholar. Then I got the fellowship of Silicon Valley. So it was a 15-day program in Silicon Valley where we visited different headquarters of big companies having IPOs in Silicon Valley. We had a talk with Vivek Wadhwa. Vivek Wadhwa is an American businessman, and also he is a professor at Carnegie Mellon University and Harvard Business School. We got talks from very renowned personalities. We also got to visit 42 Coding School and many other great places. Last is now I got the opportunity to speak at PyCon, Thailand. So, what should be your project? It should not be a small project which has a very little lifetime. Your project should follow one of these three categories. The first one is it should be innovative. It should excite everyone. Like I developed this project, people were excited to know this project. They were happy that something like that exists, and they were eager to talk to me that what is this thing, how will be the future application of this thing. The second is it should serve your community. I googled about Thailand, what things are there in Thailand, and I found that people in Thailand are mostly focused on agriculture. So there can be improvements in agriculture. So they should develop a project which could impact a community positively. Third one is it could be a very simple project which could solve your problem. Like I developed a project around few months back. Actually, when there are exams coming in my college, students call me that, hey, please tell me this doubt, please tell me this doubt. So I developed an app. Its name is In Session. It's available on Play Store. What the app does is, whenever someone calls me, he receives a message directly from my phone that currently Akshat is sleeping, and he will be available after 9:30 a.m. or 10:30 a.m. At that time, my phone is silent and he receives a message. Second time, if there is some kind of emergency, he can call me back. My phone will vibrate for around 10 seconds straight to notify me if there is any kind of emergency. Third time, it will ring to let me know that this is the time there is an emergency and you should take the phone call. There are many implications of this project while you're driving, while you're in a meeting, you're in a conference. It happens so much that people in a meeting and someone found their phone ringing. It happens very common. Next is, why Python? Why not any other language? It could be C, Java, Golang, C++. Why people only prefer Python? So Python has Python can be learned within an hour. I did an edX course in collaboration with Microsoft, and I learned Python within an hour. I knew how the basic functions are, how the things could be. So then you can just directly focus on the core tech. So I started with computer vision. So it was not like if I started with C++, I have to learn the basics of C++. I need to spend a week to learn C++. With Python, I spent 1 hour in learning Python and started learning computer vision and implementing basic things in computer vision, like reading an image or showing the image, changing the extension of image from JPEG to PNG. I started with basic things very easily. You may be working in AI, web, blockchain, finance, or very unique fields like bioinformatics. Python is everywhere. You can find its implementation in every language. Third is community support. So many people are working in Python. So if you have a problem in Python, you just Google it, you get a Stack Overflow answer, and you get your issue solved within half an hour. If you are doing computer vision with C++, you could hang up around 5 hours or 4 hours to find the solution of your problem. So Python has a good community support. And the last point is interpreter is law. You can just run the few code snippets in the interpreter and find the output. In case of different languages, you need to spend much more time in compiling and getting the output. So that's why people generally prefer Python, and I started with Python. But you need to be adaptable. Like in different climate, you need to wear different clothes. You need to have different things to support. So how many of you know about catalyst and chemical reaction? Your chemistry classes, you know catalyst. Okay. Actually, do you know photosynthesis? Like when trees, like the leaves of trees get sun rays, they get water, they convert carbon dioxide to oxygen. Okay. So what happens is, in a chemical reaction there are catalysts. Catalysts give them a base to proceed the reaction. So if there are two kinds of catalysts. The one is normal catalyst and the other one is fast catalyst. If you got a fast catalyst, the reaction will proceed so much faster. Like if you want a tree to grow in normal lamplight, it won't work, it won't produce, it won't function that properly. But if you will plant the tree in sunlight, it will work properly. So that's why we need to choose a correct catalyst for our project also. Like if you're developing a project which needs speed, if you're considering Python, working in Python, it may take a longer time to run. But if you're going with languages like C or C++, they will take less time to load and start working. So that's why you need to be adaptable. That if there is a project which needs speed, you should go for other languages. You should not be stuck to Python. I met many people in my college and outside. They're fully Pythonish. They want everything to do in Python only. It may be anything. They want to do it with Python. They do not change their taste. Like I can do this in Java also. They just want to do everything in Python. Third one is long-term project. Python can be used to make small MVPs, prototype, but for long-term project, you need to use a language which could support you. It may be Python in some cases, but generally people use Java or C or C++ for developing their long-term projects. So if you're looking for a long-term project, you should start with Python, build an MVP, check if it's working, and then turn to a long-term project language like Java or C. So yes, network. It's the best thing you could gain, you could make. The first thing is, there is everything to learn from anyone. If I met him, I can get, he can tell me a story, I will learn something from that. If I met him, I will learn something from him. If I met you, I will learn something from you. So then if you learn so many things from so many people, like you visited this conference, you met so many people, you got to learn so many stories. Now your vision is much broader. You can think what he is thinking, what you may be thinking, what is your background, and based on that they can talk, they can increase their network. Second thing is attention. Whosoever gets the attention gets the time and money in his hand. If you get the attention of people, then you can do anything you want, anything you want. It may be in finance, blockchain, like how many of you know Andrew Ng? One. Andrew Ng is like the god of deep learning. He's professor at Stanford University and currently working at Carnegie Mellon as a professor. So he got the attention so much that now if people heard about Andrew Ng, their attention just shift towards the Andrew Ng side only, not the text which is right over there. So whosoever gets the attention get the most opportunities. The third one is opportunity call. How I got selected into HPL was one of my connections forwarded that he got selected in HPL on the LinkedIn profile. From that I got to know that there is something like HPL. It may be another opportunity which you may be looking for, and you can apply that, and I got the opportunity to visit HPL. So it's the opportunity call which your network can help you. If you are isolated, it may not be that worth, you may not chase your dreams efficiently. Last point is presentation. Your presentation should be very well. There are 3 points in presentation. We start with enthusiasm. So enthusiasm attracts. It's about the attention. If I show so much enthusiasm, I show so much energy, people will be attracted to talk to me. They want to come across me and talk to me that what I am speaking. Next is you need to wear shoes to step in. It's very common. So when you are talking to someone, like say I'm from India and I talk to someone in Thailand, so I need to pitch my project or my idea in a way such that he can relate. It should be not like that I am telling the Indian terms and I cannot expect him to understand the things I am saying. I need to plot the scenery based on his thinking. So first you got the attraction through your enthusiasm. Now you stepped into the opportunity. Now the thing which will hold you in that opportunity is your knowledge. If you have profound knowledge of a stuff, you will be there, you will chase your dreams in a very better manner. If you don't have the knowledge, they may kick you out from the same shoes which you wore. So what was my dream? Updated edition. It was not to visit Silicon Valley before turning 20. It was to inspire novices and make sure they bring their dreams come true. Thank you so much. I won't take much of your time. This is me in 2019. Turned 20 last month and spoke at PyCon Thailand, and it made my dream come true. Thank you so much.
Do you guys have any questions? No?
No questions? Fine.
But I got.
Yes.
I want to ask, what is your motivation behind your project? Is it because you are too lazy to open the browser? I don't know.
No, actually, we need to make a Python project. And so we started in the morning around 11 a.m. We didn't find anything what's the problem which we are facing. So we started looking at the web, what people are building. So I found someone built a similar kind of project. So I thought people over here might not know about this application because they have such a smaller vision. If I can get something from internet and build it and convince them that this is the next big thing, I could get the opportunity. That's how I built. Actually, I saw the game working. So I was planning to make a game only. Then one of my friends told me that this is the big thing. You can open a web page. If you can open a web page, you can integrate it with the complete terminal in your desktop, and you can operate your complete desktop using your finger pinch. So what happens is, if you have a phone like OnePlus phone, it costs around $300. Okay. If you want to replace the screen of your OnePlus device, you need to pay another $150 to replace the screen. Okay, so what happens is there are many kiosks lying in airports in big cities. What will happen if there is some damage to that screen? The company needs to pay half of the amount again to replace the screen. If they're using an option like remote control, it won't work. Like they have, it's not a good option nowadays. If they're using mouse and keyboard, it may be possible that they have to replace the mouse and keyboard daily. People may come, take the keys out of the keyboard, they may take the keyboard and mouse also. So we need a solution which could, something which is interactive. People want to interact. Like if you're using your finger pinches, it's like something innovative. People want to interact with it. That's how I came up with this project, and my network helped me a lot in learning how this project could have a future.
That's interesting.
Yes. Also, I got appreciation from Randy Zian from Apple, and I met a lady from Silicon Valley Bank, and she appreciated it also.
Is it available as like a Chrome extension? Can we test it?
Actually, I need to work with a company to make it operatable. So,
Just a prototype.
yes, it's just a prototype. I'm working with the connections that I could get an opportunity to work in a research lab, so that I can bring this from my laptop to others' laptop also. Yes.
Let me ask. Are you still working as doing computer vision related projects right now? I mean, yeah. No?
No, not right now, not now. But if you have any question, I may be able to answer it.
Do you think if you want to promote your project, hackathon is the only way, or do you know any other ways also?
No, there may be other ways possible also. That if I go to the famous mall in Bangkok, I put my application, and like many people, they play guitar for the money. I can go to a mall, I can place my setup over there for free of cost, and get and call people that please use my application once, please use my application once. It just takes you a weekend. Like if I could spend Saturday and Sundays, I could talk to around 500 people who will be interested in the application, and I may find a few investors also, a few connections who could help me build this project and get me the connections.
Any other way you know about hackathon and publishing, promoting in public other than
LinkedIn and YouTube, they work well. Like if you get likes from great LinkedIn people like Gary Vaynerchuk on LinkedIn, if he likes your project, so many people will be seeing your project, and you grab the attention very in the very early stage, and you get people calling you, SMSing you, messaging you, sending the connection request on LinkedIn. They want to know more.
So you don't have fear that if you publish it on YouTube, your idea might get stolen and won't.
It's never about idea, it's about the execution. Amazon is working, and there are many competitors of Amazon also. Recently, there is a company in China called Didi for cab, and Uber also started their operation in China. But what happened? Uber got acquired by Didi. It's not about idea, it's about the execution. If you can understand the people's need, if you can understand that they're suitable in Chinese language only. Uber wants to force everything in English, and Didi, they knew that people in China, they are very close to their language. So it depends.